It's your post-match. It's Everton 3, Doncaster 0 in the Carabao Cup second round. Everton's first win of the season, Everton's first clean sheet of the season, and it was against the mighty Doncaster as well, who Beto has one of the best goal scoring records that there's ever been found at a football club. He scored 2 goals in 2 games against Doncaster in the Carabao Cup, and he started up front for Everton. I've got Les with me. We're just going to have a quick review of that game, and Everton actually playing well and looked like quite positive in the way in which they done things, albeit against Doncaster. I think that's the asterisk you put next to this game, isn't it, Les? That it was against a lower league side, but still that job had to be done. And given what we've seen in them first 2 games, there was a dodgy looking result right to you there, wasn't it? That you sort of thought could see us going out of this one here.
I mean, I've seen that game a million times before where we get beat and go out. It's like, there's a big lot of fuss about the 90s revival and Oasis coming back and everything. And I think Everton, I was worried they were going to take it a bit too literally and give us one of those 90s cup exits to a lower league team. It was quite typical of the rest of the season, to be honest. We started the first 20 minutes okay, I think. And then we didn't do anything. We didn't create many chances. We didn't score, obviously, in the first 20 minutes. And then they kind of grew into the game a little bit. And then it got a little bit nervy and a little bit touchy. Gets to half time at 0-0. And everyone's just a little bit like, oh, that was crap on it. And it just felt like it was one of those games where we could have slipped up. Haven't seen how we've been this season. All it would have taken was one little mistake at the back. We let them in once, I think, in the first half when Pickford made a bit of a telly save, I think it was. But yeah, it did have that potential at half time to be one of those games where it's just the lower league team comes, holds it for 70, 80 minutes, nicks one on the break, and you're out, or it goes to penalties. And so it was a routine win in the end. So you can't be disappointed with that. I still feel slightly underwhelmed. I've been banging the drum for Lindstrom to play all season, and he was pretty disappointing tonight. He looked terrified to beat the man. He was in complete contrast to the friendly at Preston, where he looked really keen to get on the ball, take players on and stuff. Tonight he just looked terrified to get past people. I think it was summed up when he got the ball sort of just outside our 18-yard box and tried to play a pass through to Beto. Instead of just taking the ball up the pitch, he just tried to knock a long pass, and he just didn't look confident. But yeah, we're in the hat, to use the old cliche. So that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think the context of winning the game is more important than the actual result itself. Given what we've started with, given
scoring as well.
Well, yeah, exactly.
All season, so.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this before it kicked off. I was thinking, do you know what? This is more important than it should be in many ways, and that's not. I sound a little bit more like David Moyes there, who always put a second string side out. Martinez always did. They used to wreck your head every season. The trophy that is the easiest to win out of the 3 of them domestic trophies. Yeah. Everton always seems to half-arse it every single time. What I've liked about Dyche is he's gone for it. Not remembering what happened there, which probably should have got us to the semi-final last year with Onana at the end at the Gladys Street. I looked at that lineup and I thought, you know what? Fair enough, fair play to him. Started better up front, gave Calvert-Lewin a rest. That's pretty obvious since we've got a massive game against Bournemouth coming up. Started Lindstrom, he started Ndiaye, he started McNeil. That sort of front 4 there. You had 3 behind Beto. 2 central midfielders in Iroegbunam and Gardner as well. When I seen that lineup, Les, I was enthused. I think it's probably as much as I'm going to say so far this season. I was enthused by seeing Garner back in. I was enthused to see O'Brien. Really wanted to see what he was about. And I think games like that are ideal for them to sort of put a foot into the Everton squad, aren't they? To sort of show to everybody what they can actually do. I just want to start on that with O'Brien there. At the start, I couldn't tell if it was him or Keane when he had the ball, because I think they wore the same extra large shorts, and pretty much looked the same from a distance. And he looked pretty decent, didn't he? On the ball, he looked like he was he was comfortable in everything he did. Didn't really have to take care of too much. Again, with the fact that it was Doncaster. But I think things happened in that game where I thought, why have you not done that already, Sean? But then again, I have to refer back to the fact that it's Doncaster at home.
Yeah.
Is the reason why he can probably save himself from any sort of criticism by saying that that's who it was against. So that's when these lads are getting a start. What did you think of the lineup in general?
Yeah, I mean, I always think we should put a decent lineup out in these games, because I think whether you're on a winning run or you haven't won, it's a good chance to either keep up the momentum of a winning run or, try and build up some momentum. So now we go into Saturday's game against Bournemouth after a win, a clean sheet. It's not, we can kind of get that results out of our system. I thought he looked decent. Thought the lineup was good. I was happy with it. I thought O'Brien looked decent. Keane looked decent at the back. But as you say, it's about the opposition, isn't it? It's like, Beto looked good last season against them. When he come on and scored against last season, thought, there we go. Could be a good player. I mean, I thought he was lousy again tonight, to be honest. I just can't get my head around what sort of a footballer is. He spends a lot of time just tussling with players and falling over. To be fair, he does get his shirt grabbed a lot, but I've never seen a player who just tussles so much with players. He doesn't get round them. He seems to run into them and they grab him, and it's just dead messy.
And then he seems to scream for a foul every single time that happens.
Yeah.
And it's only 50-50s. I know. I don't know. It's not the type of game you watch where you see him on the deck all the time and he's had a bit of a scrap. And it's not the type of incident where you're screaming as a fan that it's a free kick or a yellow card to whoever's going to done it. It's more like you're saying, listen, just get up. Do you know what I mean? Get up, mate. Carry on.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, isn't it? And I think tonight he had a couple of good chances to score, a couple of good crosses in. He should have got his head on. He didn't. He seemed to duck out the way or hit his shoulder. He got his goal, fair enough. He took his goal well, but I think for anyone saying he should be in ahead of Calvert-Lewin, he's just not up to it for me. Calvert-Lewin's been frustrating this season because I don't know if he's playing within himself because he doesn't want to get injured, because he wants to move. He's not been playing well, but I just still think he's a better player than Beto. But I think it was definitely the right lineup for tonight. It was good to see O'Brien in. It was good to see Ndai. I thought he was the big bright spark of the night. He looked really good. He needs to get on the ball. He'll turn and run past players, which is not something we've got much of or we've had much of really. So I think he's got to start at the weekend. I thought he's got to have played himself into contention there. I think the thing for Dice now is, now he's played O'Brien at the back, he's got a decision to make there now. He's had that experience in the team. It's not Premier League, but he's been in the team. He's played his first game properly at Goodison, competitive match. He's got to get a first Premier League start at some point. One thing I did notice tonight, which I didn't know, and this sort of shows you how good Jared Brandtwaite is, and how sort of not how much of a luxury he is, how much of a rare thing is that he's a left-footed centre-back. So I think O'Brien, he looked right-footed, and there wasn't quite that balance you get. I think when it's Brandtwaite and Tarkowski, it's perfectly balanced defence that. So I don't think he's going to be a direct replacement for him. Hopefully they'll play together for years to come. Who knows? But I thought he looked all right. He looked fine. I think the whole team looked pretty settled. We were probably unnecessarily nervous in that game. I think because of the way the previous two had gone. And as those games go on and on and on, the players get a bit nervous because they think if we concede, it's going to be a bit of a battle then. The fans are thinking the same. And I don't know if you noticed it, but they seem to really settle down after that first goal. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. Just going back on your point there about O'Brien having the right foot, playing the left side of the two centre-backs. It actually, probably a little bit insignificant to others, but one of the things that made me think about this was when he got the ball, his immediate pass is almost squaring it back to Keane, who did the long ball forwards, whereas if he had the left foot like Brandtwaite, you're probably looking at Mikalenko, you're looking at McNeil to sort of get involved in it then. To just square it back or give it to Pickford, it's like you're taking out what we need to start to move to the way in which Dice plays. I think that was something I found noticeable that many other people might not have. You mentioned Ndai there. Looks like as versatile as you can find in an attacking role. Thought he loves a trick or two. He's lightning quick.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of stuff there that I didn't know about him. Didn't watch him much at all when he was at Sheffield United. anywhere since when he was over in France either, and looked to me like a real sort of asset that we can have if you're able to get in the right positions. And I think you sort of found that towards in the second half with McNeil. He looked like they were linking up well with each other, and McNeil was doing his little bit of sort of ducking inside. He was trying to stay in the middle. Sometimes I think when he gets the ball, he looks a little bit lost. Where he's the kind of player, McNeil, when I look at him do that sort of thing, where I'm thinking, all right, fine, you're moving, you're getting central. You probably asked to do so and not be on the wing when you've got two players who are going to play in your position instead. Where's the end product now then, Dwight? What else can you do here? And I thought by and large, in the second half, you started to see a little bit of improvement in that. And, I've seen a couple of people on social afterwards saying, stay with that front four and don't put Doucouré anywhere near that starting 11. And harsh on Doucouré, of course, but don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing that starting lineup, what we did, except I put Calvert-Lewin in for Beto, of course.
Yeah, I'm the same. I do think he'll go back to type at the weekend, unfortunately. But as I said, I think Ndai's got to start ahead of Doucouré, really, because it's not just the fact that he always looks to turn and play forward, like you say with McNeil. A lot of the time, if he's on the wrong side, he's got to get it onto his left. He'll often, and he did this loads at the weekend, he'll turn back inside and he'll play it back to one of the centre backs.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time it looks like he's he's comfortable down the middle or on the left. He'll always try and turn. And you think, a player who's that quick and that skillful, he can win you a lot of free kicks, maybe penalties, because he's always looking to be direct and get in the box. So I think he gives us something that we've not had for a long time, really, that sort of that speed and agility up front that terrifies a lot of defenders. So hopefully, he will have played himself into a game there. He could play against Bournemouth and be terrible. We don't know. We don't know if he's going to be the answer to what we need. But we need to see these players, don't we? As I said, I thought Lindstrom, I expected more of him tonight. He did look like he was a little bit scared to beat a man. Maybe we'll need a bit more time to bed in. Maybe we were wrong, or I was wrong, certainly, to sort of start shouting for him to be included from the start. But you don't know until you see them, do you?
I think you're right there about him. He did look nervous at times. He looked like, when you get the ball, that type of thing, where you can almost see him, like the clocks, the sort of clogs in his head. You're looking at it and thinking, you can see he wants to proper do like a Dale Feu and just put his head down and run, see how far he can get past the man and see an end product. To me, it looked like when he got that ball himself, he looked like he just needed to be safe. He wants to lay it off. He wants to bring someone else into play. He's fine to play little 1-2s and all that sort of thing. A couple of crosses. I don't know. It's an Everton case when anyone comes in. You can put David Beckham coming at Goodison. I'm pretty sure he'd knock it out of play when he's trying to cross it, because that just seems to be anything that happens with an Everton winger. They just can't simply put the ball in. Iroegbunam's what I want to talk about before we finish off here. First three we've seen him now, and I think he's been the sort of start of the show that we've had so far in those first two incredibly disappointing games, and tonight as well. I thought he's just looked like a man amongst boys when he's the man himself. Do you know what I mean? He's a bit of a boy given the age of these. I'm really impressed when he gets the ball. He loves to turn. A lot of people don't even have to shout turn, which has been the saying at Goodison for years. Do you know what I mean?
That's a very good point, actually.
Anyway, he does it without you asking him to. Do you know what I mean? It's not like even when we had an hour, people scream and turn on him. The lad's already on half turn when he receives the ball in. I think that the talent he's got is there. You can see it in bagfuls, and you can see like tech-wise. He just seems to always want to get on the turn and get attacking straight away. Immediately when he's got the ball, it's not like he's looking down and running forward. He's looking around him to see who he can knock it into.
He's different, isn't he, to what we've had? He's not one of these midfielders like we seem to have had loads of over the years recently, where they'll get it, they'll knock it back to the centre-back, or they'll just knock it short, and they're just looking to play the easy pass to sort of get it away from them, really. He sort of plays without any of that fear of like getting caught with the ball, which he will do because he's playing like that. But as you say, he's always looking to get on the front foot. He'll always look to turn, make a good pass, or he'll keep hold of it and try and dribble. And he put in a cracking slide tackle after about 5 minutes in that game as well. Absolutely went through their player and put the ball out. So it's like he does feel like, I know it's early days, but about as complete a midfielder as we've had in a long time now. He's only 20, I think, something like that. So he probably will have a little dip in form. This just could be like an early season thing, and I think that's when we're going to have to be patient because his form will dip. He might drop out the team for a bit. Mm-hmm. But the early signs are really good. Like it feels like we've got a bargain there from Villa and exactly the sort of player we need at the minute. So, he's going to be compared to Onana in a way because Onana went the other way, not in the same deal, but Onana went to Villa. We got him in. But he feels like he might not ever be as good a player as Onana. Onana might go on to be a better player, but at the minute he feels probably about right for what we need. He seems to fit into that midfield a bit better because he doesn't just look to play the easy pass. He will drive the team on. And I thought he was great again tonight. He's been the bright spot of the season, hasn't he? Really, there haven't been any apart from him. I don't think.
I think that's spot on, that assessment of him, and that's a reflection on everybody else really that's happened so far in those games. Like I said, he's the one sort of star that's been shining since we started the season. But I think it's easy to get carried away with young lads who come in and play really good. I think he's right in the middle of, he looks miles better than what he perhaps is at this stage in his career because everyone else around has been shite. That's sort of where I'm at with him right now. But you know what? I think the situation we're in, you talk about him, I think, it's well within our rights to rave about how good he's looked and it being a piece of business that Everton have done that actually looks like it's been positive and effective to that. Because like you say, we've got no one else. No one else to talk about really, and it does really intrigue me. First of all, like I said to you there about the start that Dice goes with, I'm similar with you. I think he'll return to type, which will be quite depressing if so, given that we looked efficient going forward. He's got a squad that you've looked at now, and that's what I came away refreshed with. That it looks like you've got a load of players there that you can put in the side that you wouldn't necessarily do so with. But I think I'd like to say he's put a little bit of pressure on himself there, starting a completely different side than he did at Spurs and at home to Brighton there. And it's what I was complaining about with his press conference last week, saying that, Sean, you've got to do something else here, mate. You can't just go with what you've done and just stick to who you are because the Premier League will rip you apart like it did when he got him sacked at Burnley. So we need to do something different. I just really hope that there's a continuation from a couple of the lads we've explained it. And Died Iroegbunam already looks like he's the first name on the team sheet. And you just, Lynch, like you said, whilst you've got home games at Goodison as well, this is the time to bed them into things. If we go on to Saturday there and he's gone what we started at Spurs, I'll be looking at it thinking, you've missed the chance there. You really have missed the chance. And I watched Bournemouth against Newcastle the weekend. Bournemouth are a much better side than Everton are at the moment in regards to the way in which they play, the results they get. Good point they got against Newcastle. This is really difficult on Saturday, and obviously throughout the week we'll have much more looking ahead to that. We've got weekly coming up tomorrow or Thursday. You've got subs weekly. You've got the weekend preview that Matt'll get with somebody from Bournemouth, and you've got Les from Mailbag as well.
Matt'll get some fella from Bournemouth.
Some fella from Bournemouth, like we had some fella from Brighton. I hope they don't watch this and feel like they've been offended. And Mailbag's back, isn't it? I've still got to put out the Mailbag from me that we just done the other day as well. So, bit of a double. Have you put it out?
No, not yet. It's out. It's out there. It's on Patreon. It's on there.
It's somewhere in the universe. You can find it somewhere. But if you haven't watched it, then you've got two for the price of one this week, and then obviously post-match after the game on Saturday as well. But as we said there. Bit of a short post-match, given that it's a late one. We're heading towards midnight and into Wednesday, so you can tell you can't ever say that we're not committed to the cause. 20 minutes, Everton 3, Doncaster 0 into the next hat at the Carabao Cup, and up those Toffees who finally won a game and finally kept a clean sheet.